This is How to Start a Medical Podcast. Here's your host, Pharmacy Joe.
Welcome to How to Start a Medical Podcast, where I break down the steps necessary to start a medical podcast into a systems-based approach. This is episode 5. My name is Pharmacy Joe. I am a board-certified clinical pharmacist and the host of the Elective Rotation, a critical care pharmacy podcast. My goal with this podcast is to increase the number of medical podcasts available. To get a 3-page free PDF of all the resources I use to podcast, head over to howtostartamedicalpodcast.com. In episode 1, I introduced why you might want to start a medical podcast. In episodes 2 and 3, I discussed the steps to launching a medical podcast. In episode 4, I talked about the most common reasons that hold someone back from starting a podcast. In this episode, I'll recap my journey in launching a critical care pharmacy podcast. Then, I'll share a solution I created to flatten the learning curve for starting a medical podcast so that you can get your podcast launched fast without wasting time or money on things that don't work well for podcasting. I launched the Elective Rotation podcast on July 23, 2015. My goal was to help take my ability to precept pharmacy students and residents to the next level, and to provide valuable critical care and clinical pharmacy related content to help improve my audience's ability to care for patients. Within the first 100 days, I surpassed 10,000 downloads and 1,000 Twitter followers. And within the next 60 days, I more than doubled those numbers. I've received hundreds of emails and Twitter messages thanking me for providing my content and that I have positively impacted the lives of healthcare professionals and patients across the globe. I've taken everything I learned in the process of launching my own podcast and created a complete step-by-step course on how to start a podcast specifically for healthcare professionals. I'll be there to support you throughout the course. When you're done with this course, you'll have what it takes to successfully launch your podcast. You can get lifetime access to my course and a special discount by going to howtostartamedicalpodcast.com. You could spend countless hours figuring out how to start a medical podcast on your own, or you can invest in yourself and your podcast and let me guide you along the way to save you time, frustration, and money to start your own medical podcast. What are you waiting for? With the 30-day money-back guarantee, there is absolutely no risk to you. Head over to howtostartamedicalpodcast.com to claim your special discount and start inspiring others soon.